So actually, I would like to share the dream of our university. So the title of my talk is The Path Towards the World Class. So I'll start to talk about the responsibilities of Chinese universities in the current economic circumstances. Before I enter this topic, I would like to bring you back to China 35 years ago. 35 years ago, when China just came out from the Cultural Revolution, the economics by that time was on the edge of collapse. All Chinese people want to develop our own country, but by that time, we didn't have anything for development. We didn't have capital. We didn't have enough natural resources. We didn't have enough knowledge. The only thing we have is the large population. 1.2 billion hungry Chinese people. So actually, that's the only advantage we can rely on to develop our own economy. So actually, as one of the Nobel Prize laureates correctly pointed out, so the most critical advantage of China actually is its people. The cheap labor is only driving force in our last 35 years for our economic development. Because we have cheap labor, so therefore any kind of technology, if it can be produced in China, it will earn money. So therefore that should attract a lot of foreign capitals to do business in China, which bring the Chinese economy to a little bit richer sort of circumstances. And later on, we developed the more sort of industrialized regions, special regions in the south part of China. And also, we started to build towns and urban. So urbanization also gave another driving force to Chinese economy. And then you can see, well, that's what happened in the last 35 years. So that leads a very rapid development of Chinese economy. However, this development has a very huge cost as well. Although you can see here, the screen here is different from that. Well, in terms of urban population of China, actually you can see it's rapidly increased to over 50%. And also the agriculture industrial service value added in China, which is a temporal development in last 35 years. And you can see now the main part of the economy comes from the service and also industrial added value, whereas the main the main force from the agriculture now is become less than 10%. And the poverty count ratio dropped dramatically, which is the major achievement in the last 35 years. However, as I said, this rapid development is based on very huge cost. So now we have a serious problem with the energy shortage, with the aging population. So actually, before we realize anything, the aged society suddenly come to China. Because this arrival of aged society is come together with the single child policy which implemented 30 years ago. So on the one hand, aged population increased dramatically. On the other hand, the working population reduced dramatically, which caused a serious problem to China. And of course, we also have the problem with the pollution and also public health. So in the last 10 years, China is trying very, very hard to find a way to keep sustainable development. Of course, by this time, we have some factors for development, but it's not enough, not big enough to support the future development. And once again, the only advantage of China we have to rely on is the population. But this time, hopefully, we can upgrade our cheap labor advantage into educated human resources by increase greatly the size of the universities and also provide the higher education to the most of the young Chinese people, which is the only hope for this country. So in order to state this necessary more clearly, let's make a comparison of what American did. So when you look at the economic development of America, so you can relatively divide this development into two phases. So the first phase is from the time just after the Civil War in 1865 to Second World War. And the second period is from the Second World War to now. So in the first period, the American economy performs just like what Chinese economy performed in the last 35 years. And also is similar to the rest of the economies in the world. Whereas in the second phase of American economy performed very differently. So it is indicated by 5 sort of different steps happened in 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. So at the time in 50s and also in 60s, 70s, different technological revolution happened in US, which lead the great increase of the economic performance. All of those 5 technological revolutions was related to the innovation. And all of those 5 technological revolutions came out from the university. So therefore, that's actually let us realize the only hope for the transition in China successful is to make the world, to make the university as more innovative and make the university as the world-class university to lead the economy of this country to be more innovative. So then we realized actually university, when it was born, it is because of the demand of the society. And nowadays, the society requires the university to provide the innovation capacity. So China in transition from the factor-driven to innovation-driven, relies on successful transition of the driving force. So university should take this responsibility to function as the innovation engine for the economic and the social transition. So now I would like to share with you what a typical Chinese university did for this transition. So after 35 years of high-speed economic growth, Chinese government started to invest a lot into R&D and also into the university R&D. Because in 1955, the Chinese university decided, well, the central government decided to follow Russian model. So after 1955, the Chinese universities was defined only to provide education, whereas all the research are supposed to be conducted in Chinese academic sciences. So only in recent 35 years, the Chinese universities started to regain the capacity to do the research. So therefore, the government also invests a lot of money into the R&D in university. And starting from last year, the central government also decided to expand the spending on education to 4% of the total GDP, which give us a lot of opportunities for further development. When you compare the R&D spending for the selected countries in the 2000 to 2015, you can see the Chinese tendency actually is follow behind the American tendency, actually increased very rapidly. And the number of undergraduate students, as the President Demir said, actually also increased very rapidly. And nowadays, the total undergraduate students in China actually is equivalent to the total number of the rest of the world, which provide enough human power, human resources for the sustainable development in the future. And that's the proportion of postgraduate students in China's higher education also increased fairly rapidly. So we'll take Shanghai University as an example for this transition. In 2007, we started our strategic planning for next 10 years. So during that study, we set up the vision for the future. So for the future, SJTU should be the best university in China in 2020. Actually, because by that time, China is one of the most innovative countries. So therefore, Shanghai University set up its goal as a world-class university by that time. And our mission is to build enough innovative capacity for the country. So therefore, we decided to build this Trinity system towards excellence. So excellence in talent development, and also excellence in innovative capacity, excellence in university culture, which is also very important for the country. The unique advantage of this university is, on the one hand, this university is one of the two oldest universities in China. But on the other hand, this university is also the youngest university in China. Because in 1956, after the major part of this university moved to Xi'an, so actually nothing left in Shanghai. So we rebuilt everything. So therefore, this university is also very young. So this combination gives a very unique culture of this university. And also this university is very good at strategic thinking and also very good at action. Of course, we have lots of major challenges. For example, we have to transform this university from an old-fashioned system to a modern, more advanced system. So therefore, we have to do many very deep reform. One of the major obstacles for the development is the sort of the piece rate compensation system, which implied in business in many years, but in 80s to 90s, many universities took that system. But that system, although it can increase the production, but it's also so to have many side effects, especially on the core value of the university. So facing the challenges ahead, Chinese universities should set up a system of institutional incentives for innovations. And we have to set up this Trinity system aiming to boost innovation. And we decided to let this university to go through those three major shifts. From the governance point of view, we have to change from the administration leading governance to a more academic governance. And from the management point of view, we have to change from the centralized governance to a decentralized governance. And also from the institutional development, we have to change to personal development. For the whole university, we have to change our governance to incentive through the service. For the faculty development, so we developed the faculty development path, which will lead eventually an ideal structure of the future faculty. And in 2007, we planned to attract 800 new faculties from the world-class universities. And also we have to nurture our own faculty team and select 1/3 from our faculty team to the future faculty team. And we have to upgrade our existing faculty team, and also we have to build this supporting system. So this plan was set up in 2007. So at the beginning, nobody believed this goal could be realized. Actually, once again, it proves the speed of China actually is much faster than any kind of expectation. So by last year, actually we reached the goal for 2013. And by 2020, hopefully, we will fulfill our strategic goal to build a world-class faculty team. And for education, for the student education, we also wanted to change from the traditional knowledge transfer model to an environmental for the innovation model. And we tried quite a few pilot programs. for undergraduate students and also for graduate education. So after 6 years, we see some effects. For example, you can see the faculty numbers starting to decrease. Because on the one hand, we sort of increased the newly recruited faculties. On the other hand, we started to select from our own faculty team. And also, there are other changes in last 6 years. So this figure shows the newly hired faculty team development. So actually, it shows a very rapid development. So our own faculty also get stronger through the competition. Actually, you can see the faculty development for the 973, which is one of the major scientific program in China. The number of chief scientists grows very fast. And the internationalization of students also changed quite a lot, because we realized that for the future China, actually we need our students to have cultural training with the global vision. And also, because in Shanghai, to find a job is relatively easy. So therefore, previously, the students do not want to have the sort of further study after their university. So in last 6 years, we sort of tried very hard to convince our students. So for the future China, you have to go through the graduate studies to earn the power for the innovation. And that's the proportion of international students at SJTU. At the moment, we have a couple of thousands of international students. So by 2020, the international students will reach 10,000 in China, in SJTU. For the PhD education, actually we also achieved some effects. And we reshaped the university culture for the pursuit of science, which is the core part of the culture of the university. So at the moment, there are still some ongoing major reforms. For example, the restructuring the university governance by enhancing academic autonomy, which is ongoing. And the second part I already talked about, and also enlarging the overheads from the existing revenue system. Because at the moment, we only allow to charge 7% of overhead. So therefore, we invented many new methods to increase this overhead. So nowadays, we already reached 25%. And also advance the strategic planning for the future, and introducing international benchmark and so on. So I'm very pleased to see the great enhance of the innovative capacity. This capacity represented by the NSF grants. So the increase of this grant capacity is the greatest in China in the last 2 years. And also, that's the annual revenue increase and also research grants increase.